This is the backup order made by using the RBG inventory system. Let's take a look at the effect first. You can use the quick key Q and E to switch objects. You can also use THE as an object. You can also use the object to use it as a quick object. Let me briefly introduce the difference. There are two groups of differences between Inventory Manager and Equipment Manager. The difference is used to manage the items, bags, and equipment. The number of items used is FFS array serialize, right hand. It supports multi-person games, which are basically the same as Lyra. But I changed the item instance to MVM view model. MVM view model can better tie the data to the UI. Inventory view model is the strength of the bags. Inventory item view model is the strength of the items. And inventory item is the data of the items. As long as the inventory manager component is stored in the player controller or role. Here we must create its blue map type. It has been created in the project. The performance is just to make everyone understand this difference better. In the blue map, you can change the class of view model to expand more functions. You can hang it directly, but I choose to add it in the game feature. You can add items in the bag with add item. If the count is not enough, it will be reduced. I will show this process in the RPG scene. Now let's change the game mode to Titan. Find the P in the X key and put it in the scene. Select an item data. After the character is connected, you will add the data to the bag. Below is the creation of this item and the data. Create an actor. Add a box. In the overlap scene, use the add item of Inventory Manager. Make item dev and count parameters. Create an RPG inventory item data. In the game feature file, you will scan the assets of this items file. Therefore, we need to create the assets under the cover. Here you can add a feature to determine the changes and expansion functions. Now I create a feature to display. You can add changes to this feature. For example, the name, the number, the symbol, and so on. You can add it to the data to set these changes. Now I just give some value. This way, you can obtain the value of the data by the find feature function. Now let's set the current network body that we just set to the mesh. After selecting the corresponding data, it will grow. Now I put the mesh on the screen after taking the items. Use getAllItems function to obtain the items. Click on its name and number. Run the test. Now it has successfully added to the mesh. Now create the UI of mesh. Use common activate widget. In the character, add the test button I as the button to open the menu. Add the set bound action and choose back handle. The UI will appear to close the button. You can also use ESC to close the button. First, make an example. Add a scroll box. Create an update function and enter the number of vmitem. Vmitem is the strength of the item. After arranging, create a selection to add to the scroll box. Now let's create the selection. Add two text block to separate the name and number of the item. Add view model and choose inventory item view model to type. Create a selection and transfer the vmitem power to it. Get the vmitem data from the vmitem power. Use the find figure to read the value. You can also obtain the information such as the drawing. When creating, use update to transfer all items through getAllItem. Add the vmodel to the getCount function. Every time a number of changes occur, this function will be launched. Choose setCount function. Increase the number of changes and copy them to test the effect. Next, create a selection to create a double-edged sword. Create a COS music sword. Each double-edged sword is reduced to 1. Create a COS music sword. Each double-edged sword is reduced to 1. Again, run the test. The inventory manager has two entrances, add event and remove event. In the remove event there is an item instance function, which is the inventory power. Use the remove event to remove it. There are several events in the feature function. Choose Consume. When the inventory manager uses Consume, all the Consume events in the inventory data will be used. We change the Consume event in the menu to the Inventory Manager Consume. Its parameters are Gameplay event. After that, we will use a G.E.F to actually use the items. In the G.E.F function, the G.E.F selection will trigger this event. Look at the OnInstance Add event. Every time you create a new inventory power, this event will be triggered. If the check Add New event returns to false, it will add failures. Usually, it will return to false when it is full of bags. If the check Add New event returns to false, it will not add a new inventory power. If the check Add New event returns to false, it will not add a new inventory power. Here, we set the maximum number of items for 99. It should be the max count. The count parameter for the new number of items. The max count parameter for the second time for the max count parameter is 99. There is only one power. Now the max count parameter will create another power after the count parameter is taken. Next, I will change it to a backpack like this. I try to use the grid panel to realize it. Change scroll box to grid panel. Then, change the scroll box parameter to grid panel. Then, change the grid panel parameter to grid panel. Here, add some items to the grid panel effect. Change the grid panel and grid panel. Then, change the item UI parameter. We need to display a picture as an item icon. Add texture 2D parameter to the Ever Item feature. In the item data, select a picture. Check the effect again. In the inventory group, you can change the type of inventory view model. To increase more data for the backpack, create the inventory view model type and replace it. Add an int32 variable and select visit. This represents the capacity of the backpack to be tied to the inventory UI. Use property path to tie it up and create the getViewModel function. From Player Controller to Inventory Manager. Get view model from it. Change the inventory view model to Inventory Manager. Here, we select Visit and Inventory Manager. When this value is changed, it will start the event. For example, we set up a tool to make the backpack capacity bigger. As long as we modify this value, the client needs to start the event manually. Create the inventory view model function and tie it up to this value. This value should be called Create Grid. Create the inventory view model and add the inventory view model to the backpack. Use set view model to tie up the inventory 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 view model. Next, go back to the item UI to tie up a set item event. When the time is set, it will display the data related to the object to the UI. When the object is not ready, THE is removed. I changed the grid panel to walkbox and changed the place where I used the grid panel. After removing item UI, I will add the inventory view model to the walkbox again. This is the inventory view model event. This can ensure that THE number does not change, and the back will automatically drop. Change the width of the walkbox to see the effect. After we lose it, there are two forces. After using it, it will move. The back force will also drop. Now let's create a category function. Let's install it. First, create a button to use as a category button. The categories can be used as a layout. What I use is the gameplay tag. Create a gameplay tag variable. Add and modify its value in the inventory UI. In actual development, please use the dType button. I directly set the type name and type tag for each button here. Change the parameters of the update to gameplay tag. That is to say, a category. Then tie it to the inventory view model filter tag. Change the update function. It needs a type to add it to THE. Use the gameplay tag match tag. In the feature, add a gameplay tag variable as a type. You can set the tag on the item data. In the grade function, change the update to inventory view model filter type. The default filter type will be Pulsion. Then create a group for the three filter type buttons. They become single select buttons. There is a button group in the OpenUI. Create and add the common button to it. In actual development, you can create these buttons with the dType. Tie the choose button and update it again. Here, we directly set the inventory view model filter type. It will start the update event. Let's test the effect. In order to display the create process, you don't need to do these complicated things. I'm going to replace them with the blue layer in the create. After replacing them, we will test them and select the test button. We will copy one and reduce the number. In the Apple G.E.F object data, we have added more features, including the function of using the object. It will use a G.E.F to restore the character's life value. Next, we will talk about the equipment part.